So my name is Freund and I'm a professional tennis player from Stockholm, Sweden. And last week I actually played a professional ITF futures tournament in Vejle, Denmark. And if you're unsure how kind of the professional tennis circuit works, you have three major kind of levels. You have the future circuit, you have the challenger circuit, and you have the ATP circuit. And then on top of that, you have the holy Grand Slams. So me personally, I'm mainly competing on the ITF future circuit right now, but I have competed in challenger circuit and ATP circuit as recently as 2 weeks ago actually. So yeah, for this tournament I actually went straight from the ATP 250 in Boston where I competed in doubles, and I had some great practice there with a lot of great players. It's gonna come out a lot of fun videos from those very soon, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that. But yeah, as I got to Vejle, Denmark and signed up for the tournament, I was number 4 in qualifying, so I was seated there, and there was actually some buys in this tournament, so actually anybody with an ITF license would have been able to enter into this tournament and maybe could have played me in this tournament. But yeah, because there were 4 vacant spots in the qualifying and I was the 4th seed, I ended up getting a bye in the first round, so I was automatically into the finals of qualifications, and I had to win 1 match in order to make it to the main draw of the futures tournament. So for the final round of qualifying and my first match of the tournament, I played against another Swedish guy named Henrik Bladelius. He's an extremely good ball striker and left-handed, which can sometimes cause a lot of annoyment, if that's a word. But yeah, the match kicked off, and I must admit I didn't feel great out there. Kind of the conditions was very different, or are very different on the future circuit compared to the ATP kind of circuit environment, because for one, the courts were very wet because of the conditions. It was raining a lot, and the courts, I think they are like more kind of soggy, so they just kind of soak up more water compared to previous week where I played in Boston, where the courts are kind of a lot harder, I would say, so it doesn't like become as soggy. But then a huge factor, especially when you're playing qualifying, is that you have the same balls throughout the whole match. Now compare that to the ATP tour where you change balls every 7 and 9 games. So really the kind of the conditions of the ball and the surface as well just really amounts a lot to just different kinds of tennis. And I would almost go as far as saying that it's a complete different ball game out there. And I feel like I was kind of going for my serve but missing a lot, and when I made serves I didn't really get a lot out of it, so I just mainly kind of ended up just kicking in a lot of serves and just making sure to make a lot of balls and just try to be consistent out there, as I just didn't do a lot of damage when I was trying to go for the shots, and kind of the risk-reward ratio just wasn't really there. Things worked out pretty well, as I felt like I was just making a lot of balls, and he ended up kind of overhitting a little bit too much and ended up giving me a lot of free points, and he actually kind of struggled a bit with the serve, which helped me a lot in my returning games, and just kind of gave me a lot of breathing rooms when he would just kind of give me a lot of unforced errors, and yeah, just trying to kind of overplay the points a lot of times. So for the second set, I actually ended up getting broken straight away and kind of lost a little bit of momentum after kind of cruising through that first set. But luckily I was able to just kind of focus in again and managed to have a very good returning game, and therefore managed to break back straight away to 1-all. And I think it's very important there to kind of just regain and just kind of get back on it and not shut yourself down or be down a little bit and let it slip away a little too long. And yeah, it was just very important to get that back straight away and kind of get my foot in front again and regain the momentum and kind of control the match that I really felt like I had throughout most of the first set. Just finished with day one here in Vejle. Just won my qualifying final match. It's been a little delayed because of weather conditions, but really happy to get the win there, 6-1, 6-1. I actually felt like I played pretty solid. I kind of struggled serving, but as mentioned previously, like the ball conditions is so different when you play with the same balls for 2 whole sets and then potentially a third set breaker compared to the ATP tour where I was last week, where you literally get ball change every like 10-15 minutes, and it's just complete different ball game. But for today's match, I actually felt decent out there. It was a little shaky. I haven't played a singles match in over a month, and to be honest, like my foot doesn't feel great, so it kind of feels like I had to tiptoe around, and I actually got some like cramp feelings around my butt, which is a place where I usually wouldn't like get any strain because that's not really a part that I use, but I feel like I would have to kind of compensate and move around a little different, and just kind of strained a new part. And following up on that, I'm a little worried about this week, and I've kind of made the decision to not play the tournament next week, but I am here and I'm kind of committed to just fighting through this week and see what I can do in singles. And I have a very good doubles partner, and in doubles it actually feels pretty good when I just had to move kind of forwards and just more strict kind of movement compared to singles when it's more shaky and uncertain kind of movements. So just got to make sure to tape my foot and to not make it worse, and then hopefully just kind of try to figure out this week and then take it from there. As mentioned, probably not playing Finland next week, just trying to get the foot as good as possible and take it from there. And because of my ankle issue, I'm kind of tiptoeing a lot. I'm just moving a lot on my toes on the court, and as a result of that, my calf just really ends up getting very cramped up super quickly because, yeah, it just kind of compensates for the weakness that I have in my ankle. It all just kind of gets put on the calf instead. So for the first round of singles, I made to get warmed up and get taped by the physio, but because there've been a lot of rain delays and just kind of rain issues, they were a little behind on schedule, so we actually didn't have a practice court. So I ended up just like warming up my serve and shots and everything indoors, and it does feel a lot easier to kind of just serve it and hit the ball indoors compared to going outdoors right after. But it was a great way to just kind of get loose and just kind of feel the ball a little bit, which I wanted to before going on court and playing my first round main draw match. So the match kicked off right away, and it just got very intense straight away. And Andrea is a very kind of intense player. He has a lot of energy out there, and he actually hits the ball very cleanly, and he's just a good ball striker, and just kind of a tough out there. Then as the match kind of progressed, I must admit that already in the second game, he started to kind of like trick me with some drop shots, and I felt like as I'm running to those, I started getting a little scared with my movement and was a little like cautious of kind of like going into the slides to the drop shots because of the ankle, and yeah, I just felt kind of wobbly on it, which was very frustrating, as I feel like that is almost like one of my favorite parts of the game, when someone starts to drop shot me and I get the opportunity to kind of, like flick it around or drop shot it back or hit it deep and come forward, and yeah, when it just gets a little funky sometimes, the game, and that's really where I feel like my forte is. So it was very frustrating to kind of feel like I was very limited there, and as the rallies started to progress and getting longer and longer, I just kind of felt how my ankle was just getting weaker and weaker, and that combined with my opponent probably noticing that I had some issues moving on the right side, and yeah, it was pushing me out there a lot and mixing in some drop shot, and yeah, just over time I really just started struggling more and more out there. Oh. 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 after a really long game that we had at 4-1 or down 1-4, and he managed to break me to 5-1, and then I felt like I really started to maybe push it too much, and I started to get afraid of making it worse. So I actually decided to just kind of finish out that game, and then unfortunately I decided to call it quits there, because I just didn't really see the positives or like the risk reward of like keeping going there. Maybe I could like scrape it out and put out a competitive match, but I just felt like even if I do that, like how am I supposed to compete like that for another match or another set? And as I just felt like the downfall was a lot lower if I kept going and maybe injuring the ankle more. So yeah, it was a very unfortunate but necessary decision that I had to make, and yeah, I just didn't want to jeopardize my ankle getting any worse than it was. But on a positive note, as I realized or noticed the previous week, is that when I play doubles with shorter rallies and more kind of straightforward movement, I really felt like when I tape off the ankle, it is kind of playable, and hopefully I have a partner that would like, you know, help me out a lot there, so only I have the court to cover. And after I had some discussions with the supervisor and the tournament physio was kind of looking over my ankle throughout these couple of days, we all kind of agreed that I should give doubles a go. And in the doubles tournament, I'm actually the #1 seed in the tournament, together with my good friend and previous partner Johannes Ingelsen from Denmark. And together we actually have a pretty crazy record. We're actually undefeated so far in professional tournaments, having won 3 $25,000 futures tournament, which is a step or level above the one we're playing right now, which is a $15,000 futures tournament. And during those tournaments, we've amassed a record of 12-0 matches together. So despite this being a kind of I don't know, sad video, if you want to call it that, there is a positive note there that I did get a lot of doubles out in this week's tournament. Every time I play with Johannes, it's always a lot of fun out there. Both of us we're kind of similar in our game style. We like to just come forward and almost do like kamikaze. We're just kind of sprint forward no matter what, and just scraping it out from there. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out when all those doubles videos drop. I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao!